Shalom everyone, you're all here for Hebrew in Israel, and welcome to my new little corner that hopefully I'll be able to do my work from here. And what I did today is I went out to the wheat fields just to see what's going on there, and I found harvest starting, but this is not necessarily harvesting the grains it's harvesting for grain, but for animal field. And what you'll see in the upcoming video are two fields that I looked at, one harvested, one not harvested, and the conclusion there is that we're getting really close to wheat harvest. So anyone claiming that we're entering Aviv right now, they have to deal with the fact that the wheat is reaching its harvest point. So I hope you get good information out of this video. It was kind of windy. I didn't have my wind. I was just filming with my phone. And but even with my professional camera, it's difficult to deal with the wind. And I hope you find this information interesting and useful. And hope you enjoy it. Kol tov. Shalom everyone, you're all here for Hebrew in Israel. I'm in the Zvulun Valley. You can see Mount Carmel all the way down the back and Haifa over there. Basically my usual places that I go around in my everyday life. And so as you can see, this is a harvested field. I inspected some of the what's going on here in the area. I looked about 10 fields, I would say. This is a wheat field that has been harvested, and this kind of surprised me because I was actually expecting this to be harvested more for the straw so they can feed it to animals, but I've actually inspected the actual straw itself and they've removed the heads. I need to check if this is what the standard that they do, but what I noticed is from about the 10 fields I looked at, about 7 of them have been turned like this. And I would say the following: this is probably more for animal field, but this is really the first stages of harvest, which means that in about 2 or 3 weeks they'll start harvesting wheat for the grain. And this is actually quite important because what this shows us is that the fields are actually, the wheat fields are getting close to be harvest ready. So, it doesn't matter if there was rain a few weeks ago, even if it was very heavy pour. As I showed, we know that in April it can rain. Right now we're, actually very heavy heat here. It's about 34, it's almost 34 degrees Celsius. And this is quite normal for this time of the year. And this takes us back to the whole problem of basically, are weather patterns all we need to actually, are weather patterns enough to decide when we are, what we are, what feast, if it's time for a feast or not, and so on. And so this is a really good example because this was usually what happens in May. By the 30th of April, farmers have to say what they want to do with their fields. This is according to the Falah organization here in Israel. It's the farmers basically. And it seems to be this owner of this specific field, which is not a huge field, but it is a field, decided to harvest probably for animal feed. And what's interesting, there's another field, which I'm going to go to in a moment, where the grain is still standing. So I actually want to see what's going on there. But this is normal for the beginning of May. Today is supposed to be, today is the 5th of May, 14th of Iyar, 14th of the second month. And this is what we expect to see. This is absolutely normal. So even though someone's claiming because it rained, they think that there's no need for, there was a need to add a month. May is not a month that usually would have Chag HaMatzot. It's just a fact. Wheat harvest starts in May. This is why paying attention to the solar calendar is also very important. The method of saying that I'm just going to look at barley, and I'm going to look at weather patterns and so on, this might need to be more refined, by the way. It's something I've been working on for a very long time. I've been discussing this with researchers that specifically deal with harvest and agriculture and so on. And it's not that simple. Some of the claims have been used the last 30 years. But I will say that the barley is shattered. The fact that there's some barley in certain places which is not shattered is because these areas are being mortared. Manipulated by the farmer. Manipulation is something that we also need to pay attention to. A farmer needs to decide when he stops. And there's a very good chance that those fields where they found barley, that's not shattered is in the state it's not shattered because of the fact that they're watering it, because some of these fields are next to wheat fields. So they're just watering the barley because they're also watering the wheat anyhow. So they're prolonging the life of the barley artificially. The barley should already be harvested. So there's a lot to think about when you deal with this whole discussion of harvest and agriculture and so on. I'm reading some stuff online, and it's really bad the way some of it's explained. And in one place, someone actually sent me a link, sent me a screenshot, and someone was claiming, oh, it's because it rained really heavily, that therefore we have to add that is not an argument. Really is not an argument, because it can rain. It can rain during summer as well. I mean, there was, back in 2001, there was rain like you wouldn't believe in the summer, in August. So you have to take into consideration a lot of different things. So I'm going to move on to the next field. Okay, so we're back, and this is the second field. And I just inspected some of the grain here. This is harvest ready wheat. I thought there was a bit more behind, but this is harvest ready wheat. We can look here at one of the grains here. Just everything's crumbling away, and you're actually left with a grain inside. Using one hand here, but these are basically full formed wheat. See that? It's a bit small. The grains didn't grow that high, but this is literally, trying to make this in focus. This is well, all this grain is. This is completely hard. This is harvest ready wheat, which means they're going to harvest this. This is a field that was left to mature to produce grain, no animal feed. This is a very, very large field, and they're going to harvest this for grain very, very soon. So this is absolutely phenomenal. And what's even more phenomenal, this is in the north. This is in the western Gallali, not too far away from the ocean. And this is a completely harvest ready field. Almost all, actually 100% of the grain here is ready to harvest. To claim that we are now entering the month of Aviv, or to claim the month of Aviv was a month earlier than what 99% of the world did, is foolishness. Really foolishness. I mean, there's no other way of describing it. Not to offend anyone or anything, but when I see a field like this that's not been manipulated, they don't water this field. These are fields that I've seen my entire life since I was a kid, so I know exactly what their practices are. They never water these fields. They never spray them or anything. Okay, because I live not too far away from this field, and I see this field on a regular basis. And this is a wheat harvest ready field, which is absolutely perfect. Which means they'll start harvesting these types of fields in the upcoming weeks, which is exactly what you expect. We're almost 30 days since starting to count the Omer, depending which method you use. Okay, I think in the rabbinic calendar tomorrow it should be 30, or it should be 30 today, and in the carrot method, it's Sunday should be 30 days. A month later, you start seeing harvest ready fields of wheat. I think this is very indicative of the reality. And I've seen multiple fields like this, either really close, or they're about to harvest them for animal feed, or like this. But this was, I've been eyeing this field for the last couple of weeks, really particularly to check in everything. But this is just phenomenal. This is completely hard. You would go through I mean, actually you can argue that this could have been, in antiquity, this would have been harvested like a week ago or something, because with the combines, they wait a bit longer. You know, the rustle of the field, it's absolutely phenomenal. So I don't think there's any question. I don't think there's any question that we've entered the part where we start harvesting wheat and not harvesting barley, period. So thank you for joining me again. I hope this helps you make some decisions regarding the past, the present, the future, and whatever you decided in the past, you can also correct if you did it wrong. So hope these videos are beneficial for you, and if you want to help out with this work, because I had to get someone to drive me around and so on, you can go to Hebrew in Israel and go to the donation button, or go to my Patreon, whatever you feel comfortable with. But the most important point is to share and understand and learn from these things. Kol Tov.